Hey guys, Wild Willie here, and I promise you this will be my last video on this topic. I'm making this video to hopefully some of my friends and family will listen. I've tried and I've talked to a lot of them, and they're still pretty ignorant. If I can get through to just one person, it's worth it, I guess. But this will be my last time talking about this, and the message of the day is: get prepared. Anything I'm about to tell you is fact, not fiction. You can look it up or listen to the news on your own and figure it out for yourself if you choose to. With economic uncertainty around the world, the last 2 days, the New York and Toronto Stock Exchange are scrambling like hell to stop the bottom from falling out. They've both had over 200-point losses, and they're dropping, and they're dropping quick. I don't know if they're going to recover or not. There's a big economic uncertainty with everything that's going on around the world. The whole Ebola thing. You guys, everyone's seen about Ebola. New case in Texas. There was a couple isolation cases here in Ontario, Canada, but they panned out to be nothing, thank God. Ebola's coming. It is going to come. And just a few hours ago, City TV released a news article. Ontario nurses, Canadian nurses, said if there's an outbreak, they even admit they're not trained proper and they don't feel safe in what they're doing. Ebola's coming. Same with that enterovirus 68. It's causing paralysis now in some children. Polio-like paralysis. It's coming. The weather. Guys, we're going to use any people that study the weather. You'll know what I'm talking about. They said if the weather's going to be like dinosaurs, this winter's going to be like a T-Rex. It's going to get worse than it was last year and quicker. The polar vortex, the northern vortex, is forming a lot faster and a lot quicker than anticipated. The southern vortex now, because it's their winter, they're going into their summer and our winter. So the summer vortex, southern vortex is shrinking fast, but the northern one's growing exponentially quicker than they thought it would be. A story was just released on the news about energy prices for this winter because of the winter they're expecting. You can expect gas prices to go through the roof, electrical prices to go through the roof, and pretty much any way you heat your home, oil prices to go through the roof, propane shortages again. That's why you got to get planning, guys, and get smart. Put all this together, all these uncertainties with anything else man-made or environmental might happen. There could be another ice storm where you live, like there was in Toronto last year. They were out of power for a week at Christmas time. A few people died. Pipes got frozen. Calgary's out of power right now for over a week. Then an underground gas explosion in most of Calgary's in the dark, or a lot of Calgary, and still is until maybe tomorrow or the next day. It's been almost a week already. Combine all these things, guys. Any one can happen, or more than one can happen. And combine that, we're lucky we live in the north of the United States, where we're the northern neighbors. I'm glad we don't have that tyrannical bastard running our country. I feel sorry for my neighbors to the south. They got it a little bit worse, but just as bad as we do. So guys, this is your time to start planning. We're not all rich. We all can't buy, everything we need, the generators, this, that, the off-the-grid living and everything else, but you can get the basics started now. Have enough medication you need for you and your family, possible cold, flu medications, personal medications, pain relievers, fever relievers in your house. Enough to last you 4 days. What happens if there's a bad snowstorm and you can't get out and you got to get to the hospital? You have someone in your house has the flu really bad. You need to get medical attention, but it can't get to you or you can't get to it. What happens if there is an Ebola outbreak? Would you want to go near a hospital if you were sick? I wouldn't. Have just the basic medications, enough for 4 days in your home. Have enough food for 4 days in your home per person and for your pets. Find out how to cook that food if you have to. Don't worry, if you got a gas stove, it's not the be-all, end-all. Look online. You can buy cheap little pocket stoves and everything else, enough to heat water and boil pasta and make rice if you had to cook out in your garage or in the backyard if the power was out. Have enough water. Please, have enough water. 4 days worth per person. 4 liters a day per person. That's enough for hygiene. That's enough for eating. That's enough for cleaning. If it gets cold enough like it did in Toronto last year during the ice storm, people's pipes froze. And if you don't know enough to leave them running a little bit at the highest and lowest point of your house, well, your pipes could freeze too and you might be SOL for water altogether. Have a little bit of water. Have enough water. Have enough food. Have enough medication. Have all these things, guys. And then top that off, Have yourself a flashlight with batteries. Have yourself some extra blankets to keep warm. The winter time's coming, or sleeping bags. You can research all these things online. There's plenty of reviews, 1,000,001 reviews on blankets, sleeping bags, lights, all that sort of gear you can need. I'm not saying go out and spend $100 on this, $100 on that. You could probably get a nice little kit for $100 total if you're not too picky on what you're going to eat. That includes your food and your water and everything else. Guys, be prepared. The time's coming now. And above all, go out and buy yourself a radio, a decent battery radio. The more you spend on the radio, the better. For $100, you can get a radio that unlike my last video, that runs on crank, that runs on solar, runs on internal or backup battery. One that has a NOAA station on there for the weather, and weather alerts on there if something's in your neighborhood or something's coming horrible. Keeps you in touch with what's going on with the outside world. So guys, like I said, this is my last time. I'm not going to chirp about this anymore. I got planning to do myself. Those of you that don't want to plan, you're idiots. Those that do, good for you. Keep it up. I just hope that my friends and my family hear this and heed to it, because I'd rather have all them as an asset than a liability. Because when it comes down to it, it's my family first. Anyways, I'm Wild Willie. Enough chirping about this, and remember, it's not a question if the shit's going to hit the fan. It's a big-ass bubble right now, and it's going to pop, so it's a question of when. So always be prepared.